Fear. In its very definition, it is defined as the mechanism that enhances the chances of our survival. But when it's come to communication, why does it become our biggest barrier? In this video, we are going to explore top 3 ways to overcome fear and to transform it into confidence so you can speak with ease and clarity. Number 1, understanding barriers, a very underrated technique. Many of the troubles in our life comes not from the lack of solutions but from the failure to understand the problem itself. There is this psychological saying which says that fear comes from the unknown. That is exactly what happens when we do not know what is going to happen or what is going on. There are certain types of fears which are described as social fears, fear of failure, phobias, fear of the unknown, performance anxiety, fear of rejection, fear of heights, fear of loud noises, fear of snakes or spiders, or fear of darkness, etc. and etc. And did you know that except for these innate fears with which we are born with, there are rest of these which are called the acquired fears, or in other terms these are called man-made fears. It means these are not something we are born with but which we have inculcated, which we have created over the time. What does it mean? The point is, if discomforting situation can be acquired from the environment, surely that can also be removed from the environment and from ourselves itself. So next time you find yourself nervous, anxious or fearful while speaking, just remember that what you are feeling, it's just a reaction, it's just a reminder, and trying to make sense of it by talking to yourself. Number 2, confidence conditioning. Like we have discussed earlier in our first pointers, that fear arises when we had that feeling which says, I do not know enough. What if I mess up? And I do not know what we are dealing with. But the best defense against the fear is to educate yourself. When you educate yourself, whether through books or articles or through podcast or through any medium, the fear start to eliminate, because now you are eliminating the unknowns. Number 3, fear release drill. Fear can be easily managed, and with consistent practice we can achieve wonders with it. There are these techniques called acute management technique and chronic management technique. In acute management techniques, this gives us quick few tips which helps us manage the instant anxious feeling which we feel either before any public speaking event or while we are speaking to someone else. In the acute management, we have sensory change technique and breathing 404 technique. When we talk about in sensory change technique, what it simply says that pinch yourself repeatedly 4 to 5 times, switching back and forth from your hands to your cheek. What it does, it changes the fearful behavior. It can break your cycle of anxiety and bring you back to the present moment. Now in breathing 404 technique, it's the technique which says the slow deep breaths can trigger your body's relaxation response. Now anxiety and fear is an excited state, is that stage when our body is at highest. To relax it, we need to calm it down. It's simply, so in breathing 404, breathe for 4 seconds, hold your breath and then release your breath for the other 4 seconds. It simply says this. Now chronic management, which says condition your body and mind over time. It simply says the more you expose yourself to the situation that trigger fears, the less intense that fear will become. And unlike Cersei said in Game of Thrones, power is power. Here, knowledge is power. Why so? Because the confidence that comes from preparation and understanding, it is that building block which is needed to eliminate fear over time. Great one in the habit building techniques. It takes time, it sometimes sounds messy, but it is not once you start trying. It simply says, you know, start talking to yourself for a while until it feels natural. Keep doing that. And afterwards, switch to start talking to the strangers and keep doing it until it feels natural. And then only you will start recording yourself on a daily basis that how does it feels, and then only you will see the change. So remember that fear is something we can understand, manage, and even transform with the right approach. It's not about avoiding fear, but learning how to navigate it so that it can no longer hold us back.